This night has seen the violent end of an evil woman who threatened the lives of the two Collins children. A creature of the supernatural, Laura Collins has been consumed by the flames that once sustained her. But the threat she posed still exists, for the two children, Nora and Jameson Collins, remain trapped in the fire she created in a remote section of the house.
Oh, the room is on fire!
She must be in there with them.
The key works, but I can't get the door open. Jameson! Nora, can you hear me?
Yes, Father. Yes, we can.
Is the door bolted on the inside?
Yes. The fire's in front of it. I can't get to it.
Try and break the door down.
Go get an axe.
Yes.
They've got to hurry. There isn't much time.
Barnabas! Barnabas, where did you go?
Barnabas, where'd you come from? How'd you get in here?
Never mind. Now go over there and stay there. I'll go and unbolt the door. Now go ahead.
Fire's going away. How did you do it, Barnabas?
I didn't do anything. How did the fire start in the first place?
At first it was only in the fireplace, but then suddenly it was all over the room.
Barnabas, can you open the door?
This is no time to try to understand anything. We must get you out of here.
Nora! Jameson, are you all right?
Yes, Father, we're fine.
How did the fire disappear?
It went out as mysteriously as it started.
Where is Laura?
We saw her. In the flames. She was coming to us. But it wasn't her. It was someone very old.
I suggest we take them downstairs and call a doctor.
Yes, I think you're right. Come along, children. You'll be all right now. Come along. Quentin!
What took you so long?
Do you realize what time it is?
I know it's late. But you're an old friend, Evan. I'm sure you'll understand.
Well, I understand one thing. You're very drunk.
Oh, that's right. Very drunk. And do you want to know something, Evan? It doesn't help.
It never does. Now, why did you come here at this hour?
Evan, would you turn on the lights? I don't like being in the dark. Thank you.
Now, tell me what you want so I can get back to bed.
Now, what do you think I want? I need help, Evan, and I need it soon. Now, there's no one else I can turn to. You're the only one who understands what has happened to me.
The fact that I understand it does not mean I can do anything about it.
Well, you've got to try. Now, there must be some way to end this curse. You've got to help me find it.
Quentin, I've already tried twice, and I've failed each time.
Now, listen to me. Now, in 2 nights, there's going to be another full moon. Now, you know what happens then, don't you?
Yes.
I know. But there are some things you don't know. Like the pain that comes just before the change. And the guilt that comes after. Evan, the last time it happened, I killed a woman. Now, there must be some solution. Something that can undo what the gypsy has done to me.
I don't have a solution. Oh, I sympathize with you. I understand what you're going through. If I could think of some way to try and help you, to keep you from suffering, I'd try it, but I don't have supernatural powers.
But you do have knowledge of the supernatural and of the black arts. Now, all I'm asking you to do is to use it. Now, if anyone can end my misery, it's you.
Well, the only person who could definitely end it is the gypsy herself. If we could just think of some way of persuading her.
Now, we can. We've tried, and it didn't do any good. Oh, Evan, listen, I'm not asking you to perform a miracle. Just promise me you'll try to think of something, anything. I can't go through with this again. God, I'd rather die.
All right. I don't even know where to begin, but I will try to think of something. Now, let's get you cleaned up and back to Collinwood. We'll discuss it further tomorrow.
Well, what did the doctor say?
The children will be all right. They're suffering from the shock of the experience, that's all.
That's quite enough.
Oh, it still seems to me so incredible.
Well, as long as the doctor's news is good, there's no point in me staying here much longer tonight. Besides, you look as if you could get some rest yourself.
I'm not about to rest. I would appreciate it if you would stay long enough to answer some very troubling questions.
What questions?
Well, the most mysterious one is how you managed to get in that locked room with the children. As far as I can see, you accomplished something that is humanly impossible. And I want you to tell me how you did it. Barnabas, I find your silence rather disturbing. Surely you know how you got into that room?
Yes, of course.
Well, then how then?
Well, it occurred to me that after you went to get the axe, there was a ledge outside the window in that room. I knew there wasn't time to knock down the door, so I ran to the other end of the corridor and got out that window and made my way along the ledge.
Well,
The window in that room.
You did it amazingly fast.
Well, I wasn't even conscious of time. There wasn't a second to spare.
I see. I hope you don't mind my asking you these questions.
Not at all, Edward. I quite understand.
Do you have any idea what happened in that room between Laura and the children?
Well, not completely. But I'm sure that she made the children make contact with her, and she tried to get them to go with her.
Through flames?
Yes. There's no doubt now about her supernatural powers. You've seen evidence of it yourself.
Yes, I did indeed. I never believed that anything like that could happen. Do you think that she is gone for good now?
Well, I can only assume that, well, that she died in that room and consumed by her own flames.
The same flames that didn't leave a mark on the children. It doesn't seem possible. And yet, if it is possible, what became of the body?
Edward, the circumstances around her death make it impossible to explain it by ordinary logic.
And yet I must find some way of explaining her death.
Why?
For the children's sake. They're convinced that it wasn't their mother with them in that room.
Well, who do they think it was?
Oh, some incredibly old creature that they had never seen before.
Well, as difficult as it may be for them, it was their mother.
How am I ever to convince them of that?
I don't know. But I'm sure that they'll get very little sleep tonight anyway. So after the doctor is gone, I suggest you have a good talk with them.
And tell them what?
Well, that for their own peace of mind, that they must accept the fact that their mother is gone and that she'll never return to this house. I don't envy you this task, but you must do it. And you must succeed in convincing them.
Very well. I'll try. Good night, Barnabas.
Good night, Edward.
Jameson, what are you doing out of bed at this hour?
I wanted to talk to you, but when I went to your room, you weren't there.
Well, I was visiting with Mr. Hanley. We've been talking most of the evening. Well, you must have wanted to see me about something very important to stay up this late, huh?
Yes, I wanted to ask you if we could become good friends again.
Oh, Jameson, I've never stopped being your friend.
I know that, Quentin, but I've said some things to you that... Well, I'm sorry I said them to you now.
Has something happened here tonight while I've been away? Something that upset you very much?
Yes.
You want to tell me all about it?
My mother's gone, Quentin.
Gone where?
She's dead.
Laura? Dead? How did it happen?
I don't know. I don't understand it. There was a fire in the East Wing, and she was trapped in it. It was terrible, Quentin.
I know it. You don't have to tell me any more about it, Jameson. It's too upsetting for you to talk about it anymore.
Quentin?
What?
I want you to go away, too.
Where'd you ever get the idea that I might do that?
I don't know. I just don't want it to happen. I want you to stay right here at Collinwood with me.
But I have no intention of leaving. I'm going to stay right here. And we're going to be better friends than we ever have been before. Now, why don't you run upstairs and get some sleep? Tomorrow we'll have a nice long talk, just the way we always used to. All right?
I'd like that.
Good night, Jameson.
Good night, Quentin. Good night, Mr. Hanley.
Good night, Jameson. Now, don't tell me you're going to be grief-stricken. I thought you hated Laura Collins.
I did. But now, in one way at least, I envy her.
What are you talking about?
Well, if she's dead, Evan, she may be better off than I am.
As long as you're breathing, Quentin, there has to be some hope.
I don't see any.
Perhaps you haven't been looking in the right direction.
What do you mean?
I've been doing a lot of thinking on the way over here. And I may have a way of solving your problem.
Well, tell me.
Quentin, you and I are not exactly amateurs when it comes to practicing the so-called black arts. In fact, on occasion, we have been rather successful at summoning certain dark powers.
What are you getting at?
I suggest we conduct a ceremony and try to summon the supreme power of the underworld.
The devil? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I admire your thinking of it. I like a man who aims high, but I don't believe for a minute
That the devil would answer it?
That's right.
Quentin, what do you have to lose by trying?
Nothing, but I really...
Then let's try. If we're successful, I think your troubles will be at an end. Of course, there is one thing you have to take into consideration before you decide.
And what's that?
The price.
I told you before, Evan. I'll find some way of repaying you.
I'm not talking about my price. I'm talking about the devil's price, which I would expect to be rather high. You might not be willing to pay it.
I want to get rid of this curse. I'm willing to pay any price. If necessary, I'll sell my soul to do it.
You may have to, Quentin. You may have to.
you sitting here alone? Why aren't you with Jameson?
We both wanted to be alone today.
Why?
I don't know. After what happened last night.
Oh, Nora. Have you been here sitting, thinking about your mother?
Yes. Please don't be angry with me, Father.
Oh, I'm not angry, dear. It's perfectly understandable. But you must realize that it isn't doing you any good.
But I can't help it.
I don't know how long it will take, but the time will come when you must accept the fact, Nora, that your mother is gone and that she's not coming back.
I know.
I want you to make every effort to forget about what happened last night. And the best way that you can do that is to try to occupy your mind with other things. Will you do that for me, Nora?
Yes, Father. I think I'll go upstairs now.
Yes, of course, dear. Hello? Speaking? Oh, good afternoon, Reverend Trask. No, I'm afraid not today. Oh, release. Well, I'm not the one to speak to anyway. Mr. Hanley, our lawyer, can help you with that. Well, I don't see why not. He's very courteous and most efficient. Well, not at all. Goodbye. Quentin, I would like to speak to you about a very important family matter.
A family matter? Well, I didn't know anyone thought of me as a member of the family.
Well, Quentin, perhaps it's time that we did.
Are you quite sure you're feeling all right, Edward?
I think the time has come, Quentin, for us to try to be a family again. For you and Carl and Judith and I to sit down and try to reconcile all our differences.
And what has brought this on, brother?
The realization that there is something unnatural about our lives.
Unnatural?
What happened to Laura last night was something that went against the natural order of things. And I want to make certain that nothing as freakish and abnormal ever comes into our lives like that again. What's the matter with you?
Oh, nothing. I've got to go, Edward.
Well, I haven't finished speaking to you.
You have now. I'm going to be late.
What is so important, more important than family matters?
I don't think you'd understand if I told you. But you may be interested to know that I am as interested as you are in the natural order of things.
Everything is ready. We can begin at the stroke of... Perhaps we should postpone this until tomorrow night.
No. I want to go through with it now.
I'm sorry you got here as early as you did.
Don't worry about me, Evan. I'm going to be all right.
Now, how can you possibly say that? You're drunk already.
Does it bother you, Evan?
Yes!
Well, I don't think it will bother the devil if he happens to show up.
Suppose I just relieve you.
Suppose you don't. You're not the victim in this mess. I am. I have to pay the price. Let me pay it in my own way. The time has come. Let's begin.
Prince of Fire, hear my plea. I call upon the flame to summon you. I call upon the raven, and the bat, and all the dark creatures of nature, upon the charred and blackened stars that reigned at your beginning to draw you, like a rising mist from out of the darkness of the earth. Prince of Darkness, I summon you in the name of the 7 plagues, of thunder clouds that weep with nightshade, in the name of every spirit that still bends against the rasp of the wind and cries out to you, from the subterranean rivers of blood from which demons have drunk, from the smoke of torment which rises forever and ever, I evoke you. Appear to us, Satan. Appear to us, Satan. Appear to us.